Joining me right now is Dr. Gilsdorf. Good morning, Dr. Gilsdorf.
Hey, good morning, Randy.
How are you today?
Hey, I'm about like a cat in a milk house.
Can't get much better than that, can you?
No.
We brought Jeff Ruth in the room, too. Good morning, Jeff.
This is twice in 2 days that I'm going to be interviewed.
Right, exactly.
You think I was retiring or something.
Dr. Gilsdorf asked you to be a guest because you have a familiarity with Dr. Gilsdorf.
Right. Brian was a patient, and from what Dr. Gilsdorf has said over the years, he was a very good patient. And I've mentioned when you've been off, and I've interviewed Dr. Gilsdorf a couple times before, and I've always said it was a good experience. It really was. And you think, how can getting braces be a good experience? Right. But it really was. So I guess that's what we're going to talk a little bit about.
That's right.
Today.
How old was Brian when he got his braces?
Probably 10 or 12. That's probably about the age that you see most patients.
Right.
And Dr. Jess, if any of you remember Dr. Jess, he had an office on Center Street here in town, and Dr. Jess retired many years ago. But Brian went to Dr. Jess, and Dr. Jess said, I think there's a couple things here that you probably should get looked at. So we took him over to Dr. Gilsdorf, and experience. I mean, we walked in the first time. He talks about you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
We walked in, and even though there were a lot of people, as I recall, in the lobby, we got in right on time, and we went back, and Dr. Gilsdorf kind of explained pretty much everything that was going to happen from A to Z. I wish my teeth were half as good as Brian's, for sure.
But Brian did an excellent job. He was a fantastically good patient and did everything just the way he should, and he came up with a very, very excellent result.
Yeah.
He followed in his dad's footsteps of following directions and doing what he needed to do. So, it was a pleasure to work with you and Brian. It really was.
One of the things I like was your wall of fame. I don't know if that's what you call it, but hundreds and hundreds. It's probably thousands now if you're continuing to do that.
Sure.
But all the patients that he'd worked with, and a lot of people, when they graduate from high school, they'd come in, they give you their high school yearbook picture or something like that.
Yeah, and the day we get the braces off or whatever, at that time was all braces, wasn't any Invisalign, but we're still continuing that today. The day you finish your treatment, we take your picture and put it up there, and a lot of senior pictures. People come in, we put them up there. So it's and people come in for the first time for an exam, and they see that and they look, I know that person, and I know that person.
Right.
It's really neat. Like one great big family, extended family.
And of course, things obviously are different now than they were, 20 years ago, because back then, basically, you didn't really have a lot of choices.
Exactly, yeah. The one choice we did have, and Brian did a good job with it, was the headgear appliance that you wear to bed at night with a strap around your neck. But he did a beautiful job, not only pushing the upper front teeth back, but the lower jaw grew forward into better position. He did it. He did it just beautifully and got a great result. But that didn't have any Invisalign back then.
Right. Yeah. That was. How long have you been doing Invisalign, by the way?
Well, that's. I was thinking about that the other day. I did some checking. Somebody asked me how long, and it's 13, 14 years, and we've done about 300 Invisalign for about 300 people.
Really? Wow. And still doing conventional braces too, right?
And still doing conventional braces. Yeah.
I know when the first time we went in, and I don't know your staff now, but back 20 years ago, you couldn't have found a better staff than what you had. Very easy to work with. They were good with the patients. You had a nice interaction with them, and they'd go in, or Brian would go in, and whoever was waiting on them that particular day, would always check on them and kind of get him ready, and then Dr. Gilsdorf would come in and would do whatever adjustments were necessary or whatever. And it was really a good team approach. I'm sure some places you go and they might not even see the orthodontist at all, or it might be the assistant that does the work or whatever. And that wasn't the case when Brian was going.
You said you prefer to do the work, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That way, if somebody says, "Hey, what about this thing here?" Yeah. Okay. Fix it. And there's no question. It actually takes less time for me to do it than it does to tell somebody, have them do it, come back, check it. In Columbus, where they do things like that, every appointment takes at least an hour.
Yeah.
And you were in and out in short time most
sure.
of the time. Yeah. Yeah, I've been lucky to have a very good staff, Kirsty, and she's doing a great job, but very, very nice personality. So, yeah, whether you call in or walk in the door, she greets you. And
You never talked down to Brian, and maybe that's because Brian was doing what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And you can tell when somebody, they'll sit in your chair and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing exactly everything I'm supposed to do," and in the back of your mind you're saying, "Yeah, no, you're not."
and then,
But yeah, you mentioned the headgear, and nobody really wants to do it, but I think he realized that if it was going to get better, he needed to wear the headgear. Yeah.
I think what we said was that in his situation, sometimes when you do that headgear, which we like to say we don't do that anymore, but the choice was you either do the headgear or you take out a tooth on either side, the top. And so that can be a motivating factor. Somebody doesn't want two teeth out, okay, I'll wear the headgear. But in Brian's situation, I think that was possibly a faint choice. But he just did such a great job that didn't have to take out any permanent teeth, and he ended up with a beautiful result.
Well, he's never liked to suck ice. He never ate his peanut brittle. He never did saltwater taffy. If we went to Cedar Point, we'd get something else, but we never got the saltwater taffy. And just things like that make a big difference.
That was right. You ate the saltwater taffy for it.
Evidently, I ate the saltwater taffy, and as a result, my teeth look like they do now.
All right, there you go. All right.
Well, it's one of those things that now probably that nice smile, Brian, is helping him in his job and everything else.
Yeah.
There's the Kelton survey here that I just happened to pick up the other day. It says people with straight teeth are more successful. 58% are more likely to be successful.
It gives you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, it really does. And I've seen, and Brian, he kind of came out a little bit as his teeth got straighter and he would talk more and so on. Yeah, he really blossomed. But I've seen some children when they come in, they'll barely speak, and then after their teeth start to line up, and they just come out of their shell and their whole personality develops. Yeah.
And I forget how many months, but you might have said, okay, it's going to be 20 months, and it was like 19 months and 2 weeks. I mean, it was that close. To when he first went in, sat down for his initial consultation to when he ended, and I think literally, I think it was a difference of 2 weeks from when you said, the first time you met him, okay, if you do this, and do that, they'll be ready to come out on March 15th, and they came out on March 1st, something like that.
Yeah, he was excellent and did a wonderful job.
I'll have to pass that along to him then.
Yeah.
Of course, you said things have changed. Like you have a new digital scanner and a new digital X-ray, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize. The other day I looked, and we've had that digital. I kept saying new scanner. We've had it for 5 years now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the digital X-ray machine, we've had that for about 3 years. So and the digital X-ray only uses half of the amount of radiation of the old X-rays.
Yeah.
So that's all good. But we do individualized, customized, personalized treatment plans for each person, just like we did for Brian, and things generally work out very, very nicely. Some of the other things on that Kelton survey, advantages of straight teeth. It says, love at first sight, 57% more likely than those with crooked teeth to get a date based on their picture.
Oh, there you go. See now, Brian getting all the dates, right?
Yeah. And then straight teeth equal good personality, and so on. Yeah. Oh, I saw something on TV just yesterday. They were talking about if you have straight teeth, healthy mouth and gums and so on, you're less likely to have Parkinson's disease.
Really?
That's what I said. Really?
Yeah, I never heard of that before.
No,
Yeah.
we heard about the problems with your heart and so on.
Yeah, right.
But I hadn't heard about that. But, you know.
They come up, I mean, they find out new things all the time, don't
Yeah,
they?
from isolating the bacteria and so on and doing these studies, they find out a lot of things like that, yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, not just for cosmetic looks, but just for health reasons, too. You eat better. I mean, you can chew food better, right?
Yep, exactly right.
And I remember you were very easy to work with as far as the payments and so forth. You explained, how much it was going to cost, how much up front, that kind of thing. And you were really easy to work with from that standpoint too.
Well, a lot of people that say, "Well, gee, how many hundreds of dollars do I have to have for a down payment?" Well, that's in today's world in particular, but even back then, nobody has a pile of cash to put down or whatever. But if you can start making,
Jeff does.
Jeff does.
But no, I understand. You can start making payments, right?
Just start making payments. Yeah. I picked up on that. I was up late one night watching TV and. Who was it? Fred Reichert. Fred Reichert was on, and Fred, no money down, just so much a month. And I thought, that sounds like a good idea. So I modeled that after Fred. Don't tell him I stole that.
You stole that.
Stole that idea. But so that makes it possible for a lot of people. Yeah, and makes it easy.
Yeah, it does. Don't let finances hold you back, right?
No, not at all.
And you also believe in the golden rule diagnosis, don't you, Dr. Gilsdorf?
Exactly. I mean, I look at it, if somebody sits in the chair for an exam and says, what's wrong, and tell me what needs to be done, I look at that person like they were one of my family. And I say, well, here's the situation, and tell you exactly, straightforward, this is what it looks like, and this is what we can do. This is how we can help you. This is how long it's going to take. And go at it that way, yes.
Right. You believe in the on-time office, right?
Oh, yes. Well,
I can testify to that. Yeah. Never once did we have to wait more than a couple of minutes past our scheduled appointments.
And if that happens, if something happens and there's an emergency, your office calls the people that have appointments, and they can either come, know that there's going to be late, or you have them reschedule, right?
Exactly, and even the people that are sitting in the waiting room, we tell them this is what's up, and we're going to be 20 minutes or whatever it might be behind. If you want to wait, that's fine, your choice, or if you want to reschedule at your earliest convenience, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We respect people's time, and by the same token, they respect our time, too.
Yeah.
There are a lot of times they'll call in and say, hey, I've been held up by a train or whatever. I'll be about 15 minutes late. Is that okay? Can you still work? Yeah, sure. Yeah. As long as you give us a call and let us know. Yeah, but we're willing to work with them.
Right. Did you find that, too? Pretty much on time, right?
Absolutely. Everything that he's been talking about was 100% true.
Well, Randy, you love to wait too, don't you?
Oh man, we have stories about going. I'm telling him I've gone to the doctor early before, thinking I'd get on, get in a little early, and then ended up being sitting there an hour later. Nothing's more frustrating than
to wait.
And it just feels like that you don't appreciate my time. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I went to Ohio State for a lot of years, and Ohio State. Even back then, in the olden days.
Back in the olden days.
But you would wait in line at the cafeteria. You'd wait in line to get into the building. Then you wait in line to get out of the building. And I just got to the point that and the years I spent in the military, which you wait in line a lot there. I said, I don't want to wait in line, and I don't want anybody else to wait in line. Yeah, that's just one of my basic principles.
Right. Of course, you are the Invisalign expert. Invisalign is available for people that want to go that route, correct?
Yep. I just spent a day and a half in a seminar in March from Invisalign there down in Columbus, and talking about the latest developments and so on. It's
you go to a lot of it. You further your education all the time, don't you?
Yes. Yeah. The state dental board says you have to do 20 hours a year in continuing education. I usually average somewhere around 40 or 50.
Really?
Because I not only go to things about orthodontics and straightening teeth, I go to conferences about all the other aspects of dentistry too, so that if I'm talking to a general dentist, I know what's going on, the latest developments, things he might mention to me, like, oh yeah, well there's a space there because there's a missing tooth. We could put an implant in there, and so I understand, and we can talk about it.
Right.
But
one of the things I remember, you'd always talk to Brian, but you'd always talk to the parents as well.
Yeah.
So we were on the same page as well, and so I think that's important for the parents, brothers, sisters, whoever, to be on that same page. So you're not going to leave the saltwater taffy out on the kitchen table, or you're not going to be buying the peanut brittle, so they're not tempted.
Exactly right. That's why when I set up my office, the dental chair where Brian was, for example, right next to it, or at the end of the chair by the window, are 2 stools. One for mom, one for dad if they want. And so that's specifically, I don't know of any other offices that are set up that way, but I wanted to have parents actively involved, as you said, from day one and throughout treatment. And so sometimes we get off and talk about Ohio State football, but
there you go.
Yeah.
All right, where are you located, Dr. Gilsdorf?
325 Mount Vernon Avenue here in Marion, Ohio. Phone number is 740-387-5180. Also have a website, drgilsdorf.com, mobile website, Facebook, all that sort of thing.
You didn't have all of that 22 years ago, did you?
And very nice newsletter that you.
Yeah, it's a brand new format on the newsletter. I thought you'd like to see the.
Yeah, it looks really nice, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice. So check it out, and thank you so much, Dr. Gilsdorf. And thanks, Jeff, for your words of encouragement there, too.
Happy to do it.
All right.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Randy.
You're welcome. We'll be back with Morning Mag.